Hey everyone, Chen here. I'm super excited because we're doing another project car and my buddy Kegel is gonna help us. If you guys have been following along, you guys know that Kegel and I are going to be doing a lot more build and working on our project vehicles content for you guys. The first was the JZX 100. The second one is this awesome Spec E30 race car. Almost ready to race. Will need a lot of massaging, but that's where Kegel and I will dig into it, more so Kegel than me. We're gonna go ahead and cut to us picking this vehicle up just a couple days ago. I'm really excited because I'm picking up my first race car. So Kegel and I sat in traffic 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours, all the way from LA to San Diego area to pick up my first race car. It's a Spec E30. Got my buddy Sean here, who is the race director for Spec E30 in SoCal and also for National. This is your car.
My baby.
This is something that you built for yourself.
I did.
Also for Steven, who was my NASA instructor. Unfortunately, right now you're unable to race it.
Right.
It sucks, I'm so sorry.
It happens to a lot of people all the time. I've seen it happen to many people, unfortunately, but you know, things in their life changes and you have to sell off the things you love to continue on. So,
but you're still the race director.
I'm still with NASA. I'm still gonna be at all the events.
And you'll still be able to see this because guess what? I'm buying this so I can race because I've been dabbling in this world for this year, right? I got my racing competition license this year. I had a chance to do 5 race starts in a Spec E30 at NASA NorCal event. And I've raced a bunch of other cars, a bunch of other BMWs. And for me, in terms of like learning and just getting into racing, wheel-to-wheel racing and learning racecraft, this is it. This is like, the most affordable, I think, and also the best in terms of a learning tool. Tell us a little bit about this vehicle. What did this start life as?
So this particular car started life as a 1984 325 ES. So it was the intent of that was to be more of a higher fuel economy. It's still a 6-cylinder, but it was a 2.7 liter originally. This has a 2.5 liter in it now, which is what's required for the class. It had no ABS. It was very lightweight, very simple. And its life, it somehow ended up at a shop that he had traded it in lieu of payment for repairs to another car. So when my previous car was wrecked at Sonoma, this car was offered to me at a very reasonable price. And so I picked it up and swapped everything into it from the 1991 that got wrecked at Sonoma. So it now has ABS. It has everything that needs to be spec legal for Spec E30. It's got a few upgrades here and there, like the radiator's got a bit more to it just to help keep it cool, because we do race in the desert. It's always hot when we're racing. So it's got some little upgrades here and there, but for the most part, it's built how I wanted it to be. And it was meant to do double duty as both Spec E30 and Super Touring, and then also do the Endurance Series, because who doesn't love to race, right? So that was it. That was my original intent for it. And so when I built it, I was going to build it once to be done with it and just do nothing but maintenance on it until the time came to either upgrade to a different class or a different series or something like that. But that was far down the future. And initially, it was just to be raced in Spec E30 locally. That was the original plan for it.
In this condition, it's pretty much race ready. There's a couple things that maybe needs to be done, or is it pretty much ready to just...
It's ready to go. All it needs is, which I don't have the updated sticker, it needs the 2024 sticker, which we've got one more event. So the tech inspection has been done. I just failed to grab the sticker and put it on.
So we're not taking this seat because I will be swimming in this seat because this is a very large seat, but we will be replacing it with my own Sparco Halo. Other than that, once I put the seat in, we can pretty much just take it to the track already and just drive it, huh?
100%.
So I did have a chance to test this vehicle because I really wanted to see if it's something that I would enjoy driving. I already enjoyed racing Spec E30, but you just never know, car to car, whatever, there's differences. Oh my God, I had the most fun testing this at Buttonwillow. I absolutely love that track, very technical track. And I have to tell you, I was sideways pretty much every single corner, just having the best time. And honestly, just trying to get like my personal best. Something that I'm...
Yeah, try and get the best out of the car with what your limited time in the car, sure.
What's interesting to me is it's crazy that this has ABS
This does have ABS.
because it came from your 1991 race car.
Right.
It pretty much all the running gear came from your 1991 race car. And this one doesn't have a sunroof either.
No, so actually this roof did come from the 91. I had a body shop. I cut off the roof from the other car that got wrecked, took it to a body shop, brought him this car, which had a sunroof that was very rusty, had big holes, big gaping holes in it. So instead of patching that up, I decided it might look better just to bring the spirit of the car from the 91 into the 84 and save some weight, because my whole intention was to build the car as light as possible, not realizing how light I was going to be able to make it. But it all turned out well. I mean, they did a great job installing the replacement roof, and you can't even tell they did it.
And then so one of the things that we're going to have to do is figure out the weight, because I'm going to be underweight quite a bit. We're just going to have to add weight, lead weights, wherever, just to kind of balance out the car too.
Okay, and then what's the minimum weight for the car?
Minimum weight is 2,700 with driver in the car.
Do you know what it weighs now?
So when he comes off the track, the car needs to weigh 2,700. So however much fuel you burn, so because you got to calculate your fuel burn
Fuel, tire
rate
consumption.
into, well, not really tire, but just fuel burn rate, because more fuel you burn, lighter you're going to be, right? So it's
Right.
6 pounds per gallon. So depending on how much the car burns per hour, you need to calculate that in. So when you come off track, you know exactly how much fuel you need to have in the car
Right.
to start the race.
How much does it weigh now, you think?
This car right now as it sits is like 2347. It's crazy light. And
Let me put some bricks in the back.
I mean, and it's got ballast in it already.
So that means cool suit.
Right. Okay. So besides ballast, you can add a cool suit system. You can add a blower for like a helmet blower.
Battery
You can
in there?
add radios. No, you can't really add a second battery. There's no reason to add a second battery, but there's things you can do to add weight to the car that it won't be hard to bring it up to weight. It's doable. It's just the time and time it's going to take to do it, and where you're going to put the ballast. First, you need to decide what systems you want to have in the car, helmet blowers, whatever you want, right? And then decide where's it going to go. So you can't just start bolting things in, because you're going to run out of space. So you're going to need to kind of lay things out, have a plan for how much weight you need to add, what each component weighs that you're adding, and then put that in the car. Put on the scales, see what the corner balance is, because it's going to change your corner balance. Yeah. And I think in your case, you're lucky because you can put the weight wherever you need it to get the corner balance as close to perfect as you can, which that's a huge advantage for you over a lot of drivers that can't do that because they're already at such a higher starting weight.
And then this class is great in terms of keeping the cost down because there's a horsepower limit.
Right. Yep. It's an artificially low horsepower. You can easily make more power than what is allowed because they want to keep people from tinkering and toying with the motor. A 20 over bore will typically make too much power. Right. So you kind of have to if you do a 20 over bore, you typically have to detune it a little bit after you do that, because it's not that hard to get that kind of power out of it, assuming all the other components in the system are working correctly. Fuel system, electrical system, ignition, all that. If that's all up to par and working well, it's easy to make a few horsepower more than you should.
What's the horsepower cap?
It's 160.9. And that's an average of 3 pulls. So when you dyno the car, you do 3 pulls, you add them up, you divide by 3, that's your number.
What is this dyno at then?
This car dynoed at 158.9.
This guy knows his numbers. That is cool. I'm buying the right race car.
Yeah, no, it's not really about getting the maximum horsepower out of a car. I've known drivers that have gone out with 145 horsepower and have destroyed fields. So it really comes down to driver, car, track. There's a lot of things that come into play. I mean, some tracks having the horsepower is going to help you, but for the most part, people are on the spectrum as far as making the most and then making the least. You'll see them finish unpredictably, just because it's more about driving and keeping the car on track and racecraft and all these things come into play as far as what's going to allow you to go out and have the most fun. So here's I got a spare door, a spare fender.
Oh.
So I don't know if you want any of that.
Yeah, whatever you have spares of. Kegel, what do you think? We probably should take doors and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Knowing you?
I love that. You know me well. Okay, so take the doors. Whatever we could take off your hands that you won't need anymore, Can't wait. The next race, just around the corner. Signed up for the practice day, just so I can shake it down and get used to the car. I wish I could race Sunday. I'm not racing Sunday because it's the last drift event at Irwindale ever. I'm gonna drive it one last time, to send that track goodbye. Tracks are getting demolished all the time. But you know what? The good news is new tracks are getting built. Not in SoCal.
California.
No, not in SoCal.
Because they're all being shut down, they're all being closed down, and then what are we gonna do? We're gonna take over intersections, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so check it out. We got, oh my God, so many wheels and tires. Some of them we will be able to use. Some of them we might just recycle or use them just for practice. We got a couple doors too. We're just gonna try to pack as much as we can in this trailer just to take it back. Oh, she angry. I'm sitting on a tire and a moving blanket because we took the seat out already, but we have to shift this over because this is too narrow for the trailer. This is my most narrow car now.
Okay. Now let it roll back a little bit.
This is the most uncomfortable seat I've ever sat in.
What? Don't say that. Don't say that. That's the softest tire compound there is. That's the best you can get in a tire seat.
Well, that's everything. 2 doors. I don't know, God knows how many tires.
I think 20. No, we got 12 right here.
Yeah.
2 back here. That's 14.
There's three inside the car, 4 inside the car.
Okay, so that's 17.
Yeah.
There's 3 rows of 6 in the bed of the truck, which is another 18. 40 tires, probably. 40 tires.
Okay.
Some with wheels.
Got it. And then we got a rear.
The ones on the car.
We got a rear deck lid here. We got headlights. God knows how many wheels we have. I don't know how many wheels, but a lot of wheels. Yeah.
Too many to count.
But yeah, we got a race car. I'm excited. Dude, thank you so much.
Hey. My pleasure.
Really appreciate it. I'm just gonna be happy to bring it out. And you're gonna be the race director where I'm gonna be racing, which is so cool. And we'll probably do some endurance.
That means he gets a couple seconds off his lap, right?
Yeah.
a couple tenths. We'll negotiate here.
I thought it was like, if you're gonna do endurance racing, I thought maybe I'd get a seat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. See,
Hey, I thought you said you quit. I
don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I mean, but if I can, give me hope. Right?
Hey, how about this? How about you get better? You know, once your health is turned around,
Yeah.
then you get a seat when we go endurance racing. Is that a good deal?
Deal. I'll even cover the entry fee.
I'm so excited.
Got you.
I can't wait. Here we go.
Hey, we got a Beamer boy.
I got converted.
You're in that Euro section.
What do you think? 1984.
Hey,
It's a good year.
that's older than me. Oh,
Sick. Hey, we got a race car, boys.
damn, there you go.
Let's go racing.
Whip this up.
You trying to get your license in this, dude?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, that looks comfy.
Hey, that oil cooler is still hanging, just so you know.
My first race car. So comfortable. It's adjustable too. Ready?
Man, she purring.
Turn the wheels? Yeah, that way.
We're racing.
I'm ready.
All the goodies from Sparco. The main thing, of course, as you guys saw earlier, my seat was a tire.
A tire.
Yeah.
A Maxxis tire.
It did have a Sparco seat in it, but it was like XXL.
And crusty.
Very, very well used, sun faded. Sean was planning on racing it with a bunch of other people that were a lot bigger than him.
Yep.
Right? So it would have to accommodate everybody's size.
One size fits all.
Yeah, one size fits all. But that's not going to work for me. I did bring my own seat when I tested this vehicle just to make sure I fit and just to make sure I could feel it out. You know? So now that we're refreshing it, I went ahead and went to Sparco and picked up everything we need safety-wise, because safety for me is number one. While this is fun to wheel-to-wheel bang doors with other people, gotta be safe. So we have the circuit, but the difference between what I run in my GR86 and also my Supra is this is not carbon. And part of it is because we need to add weight to this car.
Like 300 pounds.
That's a lot of weight.
That's a lot of weight.
Right. And generally speaking, the Spec E30 race cars don't run a passenger seat, but I figured, you know what? This is extra weight because we're going to have the base, which Sparco makes, E31, which it's insane that they have them in stock. You know, you could just buy them and it's both driver side and passenger side. We'll hard mount the passenger side, but we will have to put sliders on the driver's side because I want everyone to drive it. Anybody that can fit in my seat, they're more than welcome to drive this car.
Well, for endurance racing, you know,
Yeah.
if you're swapping drivers out, we're not going to fiddle with repositioning a seat in between pit stops. It's going to be like, get in, scoot it forward, scoot it back, whatever.
Yeah, and I want you to drive it too, Kegel, because you know, you're going to be working on the car, and I feel like this should just be a team effort. We should all race together.
Yeah, this will be fun.
I think that'll be fun. Just to get some more seat time doing other stuff. I know you are building a pro drift car and you got a ton of sideways time, but going fast-ish, because this is not that fast, going fast is fun too. So what else do we have? We have new harnesses. It did come with like a mishmash of harnesses and window nets and all that stuff. We just want to make sure everything's updated.
This stuff's pretty sun faded. It's been like sitting outside for who knows how long. The materials get like fatigued and stuff, and the last thing you want to do is like get bumped or, you know, get into an incident and the material tear, and now your harnesses are not harnesses anymore.
But that's why we're going with all brand new Sparco harnesses. I'm excited because it's gonna have a little bit of a different wheel. It's gonna have a bigger wheel, a 350 versus the 330 that I tested with. And that's gonna help me because it doesn't have power steering and it's not a rack that was meant for non-power steering use. Came with power steering.
So this is a deleted power steering system.
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't know
save
that.
weight and also save power because it's some parasitic loss from that.
Right.
And from what a lot of people have told me, it is faster because they have better driver feel. Brand new center net. That's going to be nice to replace the ratchet strap one that Kegel liked to point out how bad that one was. And then, of course, a brand new window net. Love the red. So, yeah, we're really excited to get all this safety stuff in. What are we looking at, you think?
A solid start, that's for sure. Oh,
There.
okay, wow.
So, E30 things. Yeah. Generally speaking, it is inside. You know, the stock pop is inside, but sometimes for a race car, it's probably easier for it to pop outside.
If they need to put a fire out, track officials,
Yeah,
stuff
something
like that.
like that. Hopefully that never happens. But yeah, BMW inline 6 M20, 159 horsepower, something like that. He mentioned that?
Yeah, it was like 160 is the limit. You got to like do 3 dyno pulls, average of 3.
160.9. That
Really?
0.9 will make a big difference.
That's going to be the clincher
Yeah.
for us.
You've seen a lot of race cars. You've built a lot of race cars. What's your thoughts on this as a budget hobbyist race car?
As like a series, like as a car, or this one specifically?
Yeah, this one specifically. Like
Yeah,
how
I mean-
far gone is it, or how much do we have to massage it to get it up to par?
This thing is pretty straight. Whenever we picked it up, we did like a pretty good once-over of the car. The guy had mentioned that there was some body work done on the roof because they deleted the sunroof for weight savings. So the first thing I was looking at was like the A-pillars, you know, down along the windshield line, because he didn't really specify where they cut, what they cut, you know, so I was looking for, you know, any rough marks there, and it looks pretty solid there. Strut towers aren't mushroomed. I feel like the BMWs are all kind of notorious for, like, whenever you hit rough bumps, these strut towers are so thin, they'll like mushroom up, and these look pretty solid. They've already got like a decent radiator in it.
No fan.
Obviously, no fan.
So that's something that we're going to have to put in, electronic fan. They did give us the stock clutch fan, but that's going to be a power loss issue. This is fine. It can race like this. But when I did race Spec E30, just waiting in line, getting
Gets the car hot.
getting to the scales or waiting to get on track,
Right.
car gets hot.
Yep.
And the problem is you can turn it off fine, but then I'm overheating because then the cool suit's not running.
Right.
So it's like, in terms of drivability, I think that's one of the main things that we're gonna have to work on with this vehicle. But other than, there's a little bit of surface rust from it sitting outside. It's not perfect. We could probably use some touch-up paint for that, but the important thing is the bones are there. I did have a chance to test this out, and I really pushed it to my absolute abilities at Buttonwillow, and it was a lot of fun. I really like this car. I love the way it drives, and it really spoke to me, and that's why it's here right now. So price-wise, Sean built this car for himself and for his buddies to race, and Sean, he knows so much because of the fact that he is the race director for this series, and he's an enthusiast himself, so he wanted to build the best car possible for himself. This was rented out for one race, and then because he got injured, he can't race it. He couldn't race it, and he has to quit racing. So that's why he's selling it. I got it for $16,500. Just gonna lay it out there right now. I did pay him $500 for him to lug it all the way 5 hours one way, so 10 hours two ways for me to test this out. So I paid him $500 to test it, all the way here from San Diego, $16,500 as it sits, but it came with some goodies, a lot of goodies.
A lot. A lot.
Basically, a good portion of E30.
We have a whole E30 flat laid, minus an engine.
I mean, just a couple of things, like we have spare oil cooler, we have windshield wiper, that's something we have to put back in, deck lid, fenders, some
Doors,
headlights,
rear bumper.
brakes, rear bumper.
That can also be ran as a front, he said.
Yes, so I've gone through one of these when I raced last time because I bumped somebody. But yeah, and on top of that,
Like 40 wheels.
a lot
No,
of
40 wheels and tires, my bad.
A lot of wheels and tires.
Yeah.
Basically, we don't have to buy wheels or probably tires, but we are gonna pick up a very fresh, brand new set of Maxxis tires for my first race. I'm not really gonna count it as a race because I'm just learning still, and Kegel's learning too. I'm gonna use it as the time to practice. I'm just so excited. My first race car, this is exactly what I wanted. So inside, outside, let's just kind of take a look at it. Cage is safe, but it's minimal, which is fine. It's a pretty beefy setup
this
here.
is like 1.75 inch tube. And this car weighs so little, I would have no qualms driving that thing right into a wall.
Good, that's good to know. Inside, pretty dirty. Like I said, it was parked outside. Probably some animals lived in here at one point. There are some weights here already, but we're gonna have to add a lot more weights. There's a lot of things that we have to add. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a fuel gauge. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have an e-brake. Definitely need the e-brake.
No parking brake.
Parking brake, because it's just for usability.
Right.
Safety, loading in and out, especially if other people are gonna be driving it. I don't want it to just roll. Some kind of camera system.
Okay.
So that's mandated because if you get an incident,
They need to review
you can review the footage.
Yeah.
So we'll probably hit up AIM and get a full AIM camera system.
It has an AIM dash in it, huh? So
it has an AIM dash in it already, which is nice. I'd love USB plugs, multiple USB plugs. So not to charge my phone, but to charge like GPS systems, lap time, GoPro, whatever. It'd be nice to have like a little cell phone pocket in here though, because it's really difficult to just put in your race suit, get out, especially when you're waiting for tech inspection or whatever. We're gonna have to figure something out about that shift knob or shifter. It did come off on me when I was driving.
He said it was loose, but it feels like
maybe
it's
just
on
leave it
there pretty
alone
good.
for now.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna come off. So many other little things.
It's got fire suppression, and it's barely in date, but it's in date. It's got like 3 months left on the fire suppression date.
Oh, good, because then I can do this next race and then we have
Yeah.
to figure it out.
It says it expires in February of 25. So.
Couple more races, no
Yeah.
problem. We need to figure out the transponder. Sean's letting us borrow his. For now, it's built into the car. We need to figure out a breather tank. Oh, let's check that out. For endurance races, for us to be able to fill it up faster. So we need to figure out a breather tank system of some sort. It does run on 91, which makes it super easy. We do need a dead pedal. I can't drive without a dead pedal. I don't know how people hover their foot around when they're pushing so hard.
Yeah, you need something to like brace yourself.
Yeah,
against
I just kind of need something to brace my foot on. Like, look, there's no dead. I'm assuming there was a stock one, but we have to fab something up for that.
Yeah.
The steering tilt. Oh my God, it's like driving a bus right now.
It's a fixed steering wheel.
It is totally like driving a bus. It is so upright. And part of it is because when you're a bigger or taller individual, this helps. This makes it easy. So we need to fix the angle for that. We need to put a heater in it. If we're doing endurance racing, especially in the wintertime, it gets freaking cold.
Like a little window defrost.
Yeah, and also for defroster. So heater back in for races like the 25 hours of Thunderhill. Mm-hmm. And then a cool suit system would be really nice. That'll fit here. And from my experience, a big old cooler right here, because the fact that you have to change the ice so often because the races are back to back to back to back. In one weekend, we can have 6 races, probably 3 qualifying sessions and a practice session. So it's just a lot of running. And that's what I like about this. You know, it's not uncommon if you're driving this in one weekend to be in the seat pushing 10/10s for 5 hours.
Yeah.
So
it's a real thing.
yeah, helmet blower, maybe some trim pieces, headlights. We got to get the headlights working.
Yep, there's no lights in it right now. But
Yeah.
he gave us those, right? That's the grills and the lights over there.
Yes, he gave us lights. You know, these are the things, of course, for future us when we are going to be using this at night, because I really, really wanted my own kind of arrive and drive program so I can invite friends like LZ or Hunt or Nate Hamilton or whomever to come race with us. And, you know, they have a seat in a car that is not that fast, but it's a lot of fun to drive.
It's the most important part.
Yeah. Should we put it on the lift?
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see what's the undercarriage looks like. What's going on here?
She ain't pretty in a lot of places, but I have to say, I do like the inspiration, the Rothman's inspiration livery. I think it's kind of cool. It's a look for sure. We will have to change all the fluids, so we're gonna go ahead and change the oil to Pennzoil 1030 is what they recommended weight-wise. So, and then we'll check everything else. Like we'll check the transmission, we'll check the diff.
Yeah.
It doesn't run coolant, it just runs water with water wetter.
Yeah.
It already has Lexan windows here, which is kind of cool. If we do a helmet blower, we're just gonna have to like cut a little duct there.
Like a duct on the side or something.
And this thing is just so lightweight because of the fact that it was such an early year model of this car. And me being like now a BMW guy and my relationship with EAG, maybe I can work with Drew to make this a little prettier than it looks right now. But not to say that's the point. The point is to get this out and get more seat time with it. So, all right, so Keigo's gonna get in the very comfortable Maxxis racing seat.
It's not bad. She ain't bad.
All right, and then you guys get to hear startup.
Just the first 3, right?
Yeah, first 3 switches up. Oh, that beautiful inline 6 sound. Apparently this is the last Spec E30 exhaust, like brand new exhaust. And it was put on this car. So we'll take a look at underneath the car. First time putting it on the lift. I mean, it's a good looking car, I have to say. I like the way it looks. All right, first time looking at this thing.
The sway bar looks like it's been punching the fuel fill in.
Oh, nice.
Brake pad's got a little bit of life on them. It'd be nice to probably rebuild these since they're so rusted out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if
This
they're.
one's not that bad compared to
Yeah.
the other
But like the bracket is, which is odd. It's like they swapped the bracket with a piston, like a good piston. I didn't realize these cars were divorced in the rear.
I didn't realize either.
Oh, it's so strange. It's just like
They
That's
hang
crazy
Sitting.
that's crazy I can hang this.
This
Like,
low.
look at this.
Yeah.
It's almost about to, you could literally take this off if you wanted to. That is very interesting.
Exhaust scrapes a little bit.
The underneath it looks
Ooh.
pretty clean.
Transmission looks like it needs a rear main. Kind of crusty back here.
I mean, in terms of rust,
Oh yeah, no,
it's
she's
pretty
not-
clean for 1984, man.
Yeah, that's probably where the water pooled up in the driveway over the years.
Yeah.
This, I think we're gonna remove those because he was talking about the water like puddling
Yeah.
up in long
Yeah.
races. Because we can just put like a rubber
Yeah.
grommet there, and then whenever it's raining, just pop it out so the car drains.
nest building up right there too.
Where? That's what I was talking about. Animals living here. Oh wow. Okay. I mean, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah,
It
the
is sweaty.
Oil pan is might have seen better days.
Definitely need a.
Yeah, well, that's how that was attached. Remember it?
Bluetooth tapper.
Remember whenever
no.
it fell on the
Yeah,
trailer,
yeah.
loading it up?
Yeah.
The core support is definitely banged up. It looks like someone used this as a jacking point,
Right.
for sure. Just remount it in a better fashion, you know? I'm curious to get the rule book out and see what we can like upgrade and
Yeah.
you know really get after. Like, does it have to run the stock oil cooler? Does it have to run the stock? You know,
Maybe
obviously
not.
not the stock radiator because they've got a Mishimoto in here.
Right.
It had there was some sort of sensor here at one point for the oil, probably pressure, and it doesn't exist anymore. It's got stainless lines up front with brake pad. Is that a brake? No, that's a speed sensor, huh? Or ABS.
Yeah, it's ABS. Surprisingly, this has ABS.
I was gonna say in '84 they had ABS. Yeah. The steering knuckle is insane. I wonder what that's all about. It's like brand new billet aluminum stuff.
Oh, that. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not bad. It's a good start.
It's a good start.
If this is your sub harness belts, we need to put some washers on those. Those are absolutely supposed to have like big old fat like 3-inch washers because I mean you've seen these things. They're made
Oh,
out
yeah.
of like aluminum cans.
Yeah.
And the first time this actually gets yanked on, it'll pull that nut right through since there's no surface area.
Right. There's some washers for this stuff, whatever is up here. I'm assuming that's probably the seat.
Yeah, maybe that's the seat bracket.
Probably bend this back.
Yeah, they got peeled open right here. Someone took a bite out of it right there. Yeah, like can we put sphericals in there instead of like
setup-
rubber bushings?
Probably not. The setup was good. Like it drove great.
Yeah.
And it drove straight. We do need to straighten out the steering wheel though. It's not straight. That's not straight.
That's easy.
That's easy. Yeah.
That's a quick fix. It's definitely got a lot of oil under the car.
Mm-hmm.
Like this section is entirely wet.
You probably need an oil pan gasket for sure.
It definitely
This
needs.
is really sweaty.
Definitely need to change that filter.
Yeah.
This is
It looks old.
I mean, dude, I think it even needs a front main. Like the front of the motor is
Yeah.
caked up
Yeah.
pretty good.
I think honestly it needs a pretty good cleaning to begin with.
Yeah.
To find out where everything
Where
is
everything's
leaking from.
actually coming from.
Yeah.
Before we just start throwing parts at it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not down the sides right here. It's like on the front by the crank, around the front of the oil pan. I think it's a front main, and you know we got a drop right here, you know, so that's where it's collecting. A little bit down here, obviously.
Not as bad as I thought.
Were you expecting?
I don't
Trauma?
know. You know, you just don't know with these things.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know. And I think it's a challenge, and that's the point. Well, what's the point of getting a perfect car?
Right, that's no fun.
You know?
You got to put your own spin on it, right?
First of all, a perfect car would cost so much money. And then second of all, I feel like our jam is just making things our own, you know?
Drain plug is like shaved down.
A
Yeah.
couple off-course excursions, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I'm curious if we can put like a skid plate on it, or if they'll deem that illegal because
Oh,
it's
I don't
aero.
know. I
You
don't
know.
know.
Those bricks, they actually have how much they weigh. I thought they were 50-pound bricks. One's a 25, one is 37 and a half.
Okay.
So we can add a lot more than we thought,
All right.
or that
That's
I
good.
thought.
That's good.
How much are you allowed?
250.
250. That's a lot.
We're gonna strap you to the bottom of this.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just going to dig into it, and the next episode is us racing it for the first time at Chuckwalla.